First off, I just want to say, I finally cleaned my office. I moved into this house like 6 months ago, no exaggeration, and I'm finally actually able to use this space for videos, which is great because I want to do some first sitting content and some other stuff. So it's really cool. We can actually use the space now. It's really awesome. Now, I want to start off this video by saying that YouTube has become a really difficult thing for me to work on this channel in long form content specifically. And I want to talk about why. I want to have a heart to heart with you guys and be a little bit vulnerable. And I want to make it clear, this is not an update video. This is much more just I have some thoughts and I want to put them down. And this is the easiest way for me to do that. So that's why I'm doing that. But I hope that it will also give you some insight into really the scale at which Ivy comb is now a thing, and it's no longer just this thing that I do, you know, entirely for fun. And it is still mostly for fun, but it's become a very serious thing. And that's really cool, but also it means that, you know, I've had to shift my priorities around and do a lot of stuff. And I want to just go over it with you guys. And I'm very interested to hear your feedback. So after watching this video, if you have thoughts, if you have opinions, I really highly encourage you to put them in the comments. I will be reading pretty much all the comments on this video. Now, first off, I want to say YouTube has not become difficult because I don't enjoy it or anything of this sort. Actually, quite the opposite is true. Lately, I've had a much higher drive to do more YouTube videos, to make more shorts, to do more stuff for Ivycomb clips, just everything in general. I've been wanting to shift my focus more towards videos alongside what I already do on Ivycomb Music full time. One of my biggest problems right now as a creator is I've been streaming a lot, and I really like streaming, but I think the big thing for me is I feel like I'm putting too much emphasis on streaming, and I feel like I've trapped myself in it almost. A big part of it for me is I get worried a lot that if I decide that I want to do less streaming, that people will be less interested, because there's a lot of people that really like my streams. And I have a lot of fun doing them, and I don't want to stop streaming. But the main problem is, even with my schedule shifting, sometimes I've been streaming too much and it results in me just being really exhausted, and I just don't have enough social energy to put that into creating YouTube videos. Although it might not seem like it on the surface, I'm sure a lot of you guys do understand this implicitly, but most of my focus is on Ivycomb Music. Although it might not seem this way on the surface to some people, I think most of you understand that that channel has a lot of work that goes into it. In fact, most of my free time the past couple of weeks when I haven't been streaming has been spent entirely working on new Ivycomb music, both videos and the actual music itself, as well as working on the vinyls, the CDs, and all the new merch. Amount of time that I spent on Ivycomb music would probably make some people really surprised, because although I only upload, you know, between 1 and sometimes 3 videos a month to Ivycomb Music, and on some occasions it's not even for like 6 weeks, each video takes at least a couple dozen hours at the bare minimum of work from myself and V. But now I'm also managing the merch store, which is both for this channel, like the main Ivycomb brand, and for Ivycomb Music. And that has been a whole additional time sink. We just shipped out the Raised by Aliens vinyl after a 6-month production. It was so much work. It was a much bigger project than I anticipated, but I learned so much from it. I've been sending out emails to customers, answering questions, helping people out who are first-time vinyl buyers, and basically there's just been so much email correspondence and responding to people, on top of trying to balance my YouTube videos, my streams, and making music. I think I've spent roughly about 20 hours responding to emails in the past 2.5 weeks. And this is on top of also managing the new vinyl and CD orders for our upcoming stuff, and starting to get things together for Anti-Human, the show / the big music video project. It's just been a lot. I pretty much do everything for Ivycomb Music entirely by myself, aside from the visual art. So managing hundreds of orders, which, for the record, I don't have to ship them out myself, thank God. I shipped out a few CDs by myself. I'm never doing that again. Most of the CD and vinyl stuff is handled by the company I work with. but I still have to do the graphics, I still have to do remasters, I still have to set everything up on my end, and it just takes an immense amount of time on top of everything else. And I do feel like the majority of my fan base is actually quite appreciative of the amount of work that goes into Ivyco Music. I get lots of comments on that channel talking about this, but I think that just saying this as it is really important, because it's not just simply, oh, I make a song and then a video comes out. I'm always working on new music. Right now, I currently have 33 songs that I'm working on, which I know probably sounds insane, but you know, I chip away at 1 or 2 at a time, and then I'll be like, okay, I need to come back to this when I'm fresh. I'll go work on another song. I have collabs with Yonkagore in progress. I have collabs with so many other artists that I can't even name them all off the top of my hands right now. And I don't want to take away any time from Ivyco Music. The problem is not Ivyco Music. It is that I'm doing that while also trying to manage this channel and trying to stream and make short content and still do like other things as well. I am just putting way too much on my plate right now. And basically just my entire life right now is one massive scheduling conflict. I am trying to also do all this while still having a personal life and seeing my friends. I had Dungeons and Dragons on Saturday. We had a 2-year-long campaign that just ended called Adora. So I have my Saturdays back, but aside from that, it's basically just always this tightrope, delicate balancing act of trying to find the perfect timeline to do everything on. Like I said before, I really do want to actually put more focus onto YouTube videos. I have a bunch of ideas that I'm going to be talking about momentarily. But in order to do that, I think that I'm going to have to really cut back on streaming. And I'm just not really sure how I feel about that, because streaming, funnily enough, is kind of what started all of this in the first place. Like, this was all pretty much started by my stream career. And so I guess there's part of me that worries that if I stream less, even if it's just reducing my streams from 3 to 5 per week to 2 to 4 per week, leaning more towards 2, I just worry that people are going to lose interest, which I think is probably a really silly anxiety to have. I've just been doing streaming as an integral part of my Ivycomb thing for so long that I just worry that people will lose interest or be less excited. But then there's also the part of me that thinks about, like, well, if I do only, you know, let's say on a given week I do 2 streams on average. If I do 2, I can actually spend a little bit of time prepping those and then making them into cooler events and doing more, and I'll probably have more energy to really like be the stream character that I want to be. And so I'm just kind of at this crossroads right now where I want to reduce the amount of streaming that I do, but I don't want to stream so little that there is a loss of interest or that like I feel dissatisfied, because I like streaming. That's the real problem here, is that I like everything that I do. I love making YouTube videos. I love making music. I love streaming. It's all fun to me. I have a great time doing all of it. I love meeting fans at conventions, which is crazy and a whole other discussion. But the long and short of it is I'm just not really sure what my best course of action is there. And I guess if you guys have feedback about that, I'm all ears for it. In order for me to actually try and put more love and care into this channel, something has to be cut back on. And Ivycomb Music is my, like, it is my passion project. I love Ivycomb Music. I love it so dearly, and I want nothing more than to see it continue to grow and succeed and blossom into something amazing. Because even now, like, I didn't expect Ivycomb Music to ever get to the size it's at now. Like, it's ridiculous. It's about to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. The music gets close to 7 million streams a month, which is insane. And I would like to do more cool YouTube stuff, because then I'm also not just stuck recording stuff inside. Like when I'm streaming, I could actually experiment with some other content, which brings me to the things I want to do. TM, whoa, awesome. But the thing is I just worry that, like, you know, if I make massive changes or try to do too much experimental, that people will lose interest in the stuff. And so I think that because of that anxiety, I've actually stifled my own creativity at times. And I think that I really need to stop doing that. I think that I should really focus on just trying to make the best stuff that I can, which is the core of what I try to do. But I have said to myself, oh, I'm not going to do this idea because what if people don't like it? And I just think that that's probably not the healthiest way to approach it. I think that if I think the idea is good and that it's fun, But oh no, my main furry audience might not watch this video. I think that like I just need to start actually making more stuff. Although I really like making furry content, and I do intend to continue doing so because it's fun. It's one of my main hobbies. I don't want to just be limited to making stuff that is furry in nature, which I'm sure you guys can all understand. It's basically just a thing of like, you know, I'm also a gamer. I like speedrunning. I find all that stuff very interesting. I really, really like cars. Not a secret. I'm sure that many of you that have been watching my stuff for a long time are like, oh, here goes Ivy with cars again. But I have more than one interest, and I want to share those different interests in new and exciting ways. That transitions me smoothly into some of the things that have been on my mind that I want to do and all that kind of stuff. If I reduce my streams a little bit and have more time to do other stuff, I'm really hoping that I can start up a couple of new series on the channels. One of them is one that might be suited better as shorts, but I could also just make some long form videos and then edit them down into shorts, and that's furry myth busting. I had this idea of people who hear these, like, you know, things about fursuiting or going to conventions, just literally myths. You hear something and you're like, oh no. A good example of this is, oh, you can't fursuit in summer because it gets too hot. And we'll like, okay, let's myth bust that. My friends and I will go to a park, we'll just hang out, record some silly stuff, and then if I get too hot, we're like, oh yeah, no, like it's too hot. That's a really basic example, obviously, but I think that could be a fun series because it's about discovery and more about like just, you know, us being ourselves and having fun than it is like a scripted video essay, which I do like scripted video essays too, but I want to have variety. I want to experiment, you know? That also ties into an idea of just like simply fursuiter goes to the mall. Like, you know, let's say like my rivulet fursuit, I just put it on and we go to the mall and we film people's interactions and whatnot. Like, that could be really fun. It's an innocent idea. We would contact the venue beforehand to make sure they're okay with it, and then go and record and just have fun. And I think that would make a good video. And I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think would be a good video? A lot of you guys seem to like my convention vlogs, so like, maybe we do more of that kind of thing, right? I want to do some more gaming VOD edits, specifically like, you know, playing an indie game or doing something like, let's say, doing Trackmania Cup of the Day, and it's a really wacky map. I want to just edit down some more of those because I think that there are a lot of you guys that do like that format. Even though the last one I uploaded didn't perform that well, I thought it was a really funny video, and it's worth watching if you haven't watched it yet. But I want to do some more of those and experiment with them because, again, I like the videos that I and my little team of small editor guys do when it is just simply like Ivy Comb and friends having a fun time. I think those are some of my favorite videos that I end up making. I have a couple of video essays in the works. I have one about the history of the furry fandom, and we've had the script for that like pretty much ready for like 2 years. So I need to record that and start editing it, but I've been revising the script to make it good. It's been like a long ordeal. I have one about the history of the animation meme community as well, and it is extensive. It's like a 40-page document. So, you know, those are projects that have been on the back burner a little bit, but I want to reopen them and hopefully finish at least one or two of them this summer alongside the other videos. The last one is that I've been thinking about doing some vlogs. You guys like my convention vlog videos, and I had this idea of just trying to do some like fun life vlogs about like, you know, let's try this new restaurant, let's do this thing, and like maybe bring the fursuit to those kinds of things and make it a part of the content, because then it can still be furry focused. But I'm not sure. It's just I really want to be able to do more videos that are just sharing the cool stuff that I do. And it's not just because I want to share it with you guys, but it's also because it's kind of like a video diary for myself, you know? Like, part of me thought about vlogging the first time that I took the plaid to the drag strip, but I didn't end up doing that. And I don't regret not doing that, but part of me wonders, like, what if I'd vlogged that? Like, would people have liked that and thought it was as fun as I thought it was? And so there's just a lot of that circling around in my mind. I've been feeling creatively Basically, I've just been feeling a little bit creatively unfulfilled lately, and it's not because I'm not enjoying what I do, it's because time sucks. Really, I just wish that we had like 3 extra days in a week and like 8 extra hours in a day, because then I wouldn't have to worry about this. I could just simply stream, still have tons of time to make everything, and all that. As funny as it is to say, I'm probably gonna end up having to get someone to help me with managing my time. Just because like things have gotten so big, and I still want to be able to make sure everything gets done, but I only have so much time in a day, and I'm reaching the point in my life where my work is starting to creep up on my free time again. I would like to be able to still have free time and live my life without my life all being work. So yeah, I'm gonna work on achieving that balance. I wanted to have just kind of a heart-to-heart with you guys about it, but yeah. I hope that this video was insightful and interesting, and if you have feedback, leave it in the comments. Thank you. Shout out to my patrons. This isn't a regular video, so I end card Minecraft trackers.